Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and I just got back from the new film Les Misérables. This is the film version of the famous Broadway stage production that is a version of the book by Victor Hugo from 1862. The music in it was great, and all the songs were great. There's no real dialogue, it's constant songs. It's like one song after the other, and it really moves. I mean, it feels like it moves at the beginning, but it goes on so long. And what doesn't really help with any of that is really the direction. And I think the direction in this film is its biggest problem. It's been this big thing. They've done a lot of stuff in the press about it. They've been showing behind the scenes profiles before movies, right with the trailers, about how they sang all the songs live and all this nonsense. Singing the songs live and the way Tom Hooper decided to shoot this film is probably one of the worst ideas I've seen for a musical probably ever. It's probably, direction-wise, a huge mistake. He has the worst artistic intuition I think I've ever seen from a director, that he thought any of this was a good idea. I guess he's trying to show more of a gritty realism and kind of a realness to musicals. Musicals aren't really about gritty realism and having people sing live on camera. They're really big productions. And the fact that this is a musical that takes place in France and nobody speaks French in it, I think the idea of authenticity went out the window a long time before Tom Hooper showed up. So the fact that he's trying to do this is laughable, and it just kind of ruins the movie. You have some great performances, especially from Hugh Jackman and Anne Hathaway. They can show they can be in this weird, bizarre theory-directed musical and be in a regular musical and do fine, but a lot of the other actors, it's like some of the times they would be good at singing, but the acting wasn't so good because you have to focus on both. When they were singing, it wasn't matching up with the music. It just looked kind of rushed and not very well put together in places. Like, he didn't really have the wherewithal to really make a really refined, beautiful musical. That's what I wanted. Like, when I was watching Les Misérables, I was like, if I got a normal Hollywood musical out of this, I probably would have loved this movie. But the fact that he, you know, messes it up with all his artistic pretension theory that he has going on. When Anne Hathaway's doing the I Dream a Dream song, that's a great performance and she sings the hell out of it, but the background looks like murky, unfocused bleh, and it's like, why did you ruin that? Like, the scene in the trailer, if you've seen the trailer, is better looking than the movie, and he has all these shots of like just people's faces singing, and that's all you see. Like, musicals are done in wide shot. Like, how come he doesn't know that? Has he ever seen a Vincent Minnelli movie? I really don't think Tom Hooper has seen a musical since he was like a kid, because there is no love of musicals in this. It was hard for me to get into it because it had the cameras constantly moving and shaking for reasons I just do not understand. Like, keep the camera still. Like, musicals are made for extreme professional precision. They're not made to go all gritty and indie filmmaking. That he cast Russell Crowe, who has like kind of a rock and roll voice, could not really make the transition to musicals. He sounds off, he sounds weird. I don't really understand what he's doing with his singing voice. Russell Crowe is like one of the worst parts of this movie. Tom Hooper would always go in for a close-up to show us like how intense their face is. You have these amazing sets that were built, and then you're just gonna show it out of focus most of the time. I didn't get the impression Tom Hooper even knew what he was doing, because there's like sub-sequences where the camera's just cutting around so frequently and so oddly, just like he doesn't know what he's doing. He's completely all over the place with this movie. He was the wrong director for this. Look at the musicals of old, and you look at like a Vincent Minnelli film, or a Gene Kelly film, or somebody who could really nail a fucking musical, and you see it's done with precision, it's done with a lot of accuracy. You had to go over it take by take by take, and in this it looked like he didn't spend enough time on it. It's all lazy modern filmmaking, and when I would forget about his stupid theory about having them sing live and have the camera shake all over the place, when he'd have several people singing different things at once, I could really enjoy it, but every time I was reminded of it, it was distracting. I cannot wait for someone to remake this and remake it as a real Hollywood big budget musical production. Tom Hooper, he is a terrible director. I never liked how he shot the King's Speech. He just doesn't understand camera placement at all. I don't think he knows what camera placement is or how you use cinematography. I really do not want to hear anyone make a musical like this because it was such a bad idea. It was a terrible idea. I didn't really want to see a musical that was worse directed than Glee. And somehow Tom Hooper accomplished that. The direction was bad. It hurt the entire film. This new girl this is her first film, Samantha Barks, she has this one song in it where she's singing in the rain. It's like this beautiful song. And I was like, God, she is like nailing this. But then there's like this rain sound effect going on, and it ruined the song. Like, Tom Hooper just ruined this movie for me. I was just shocked at how badly he directed this and badly he handled this. I feel like there was enough goodness with the music and with Anne Hathaway and Hugh Jackman that you can still have a good time. I still think it's a decent movie, and I think that speaks more for the material that he was working with than him. But he really hindered this really terribly. I kind of don't want anyone to see it because I don't want anyone in Hollywood to think how they made this was at all a good idea. This is one of the worst ways to ever make a musical ever. And it was one of the worst directed musicals I've ever seen. Such a mess of direction and editing and cinematography. It just looks like somebody who doesn't really love the movies made it. And, you know, that's how Tom Hooper directs, so I guess I should have expected that. So if you have seen Les Misérables and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments, and subscribe if you would like to. I kept calling it Les Misérables. I should have introduced the movie, but I was like, hey, what's up, it's Jim. I just got back from Les Misérables. They should have called it that, because whoa, this is great.